Zach, so we've established that one of the greatest single threats to our national security is Islamic extremism. And, you know, I've been even watching videos of things that you've talked about on the internet of this extreme mentality has actually infiltrated the highest realms of our government by a plan developed by the Muslim Brotherhood. Can you talk about that?
Oh, absolutely. The Muslim Brotherhood wrote a plan. You know, we all hear about the Muslim Brotherhood, and we heard a lot about them with the Arab Spring. Remember the Arab Spring?
Egypt.
Everybody was so excited about democracy has come to the Middle East. And who was driving the Arab Spring? The Muslim Brotherhood. Now, our government, I mean, I remember giving interviews on the radio, and and I'm saying this is a disaster. These are the Muslim Brotherhoods who want to establish the caliphate, the Islamic State. And people would say, no, but look at them. You know, they're all in suits and they're wearing jeans and they look so educated. Well, of course, the Muslim Brotherhood is the most educated group in Egypt. And when you look at the founding of people who are members of the Muslim Brotherhood, Osama bin Laden was a member of the Muslim Brotherhood. Muhammad Atta, the ringleader of the September 11th attack, was a member of the Muslim Brotherhood. He was an engineer. Ayman al-Zawahiri, who's the head of Al-Qaeda, was a leader of the Muslim Brotherhood. He's a surgeon. So we're not talking about stupid people. We're talking about highly educated people. So the Muslim Brotherhood wrote a plan, a 100-year plan for radical Islam to infiltrate and dominate the West and establish an Islamic government on earth. In the counterterrorism circles, this plan became known as the Project. Now, the Muslim Brotherhood was established in 1928. This is one thing that most Americans did not realize, because with the Arab Spring, everybody thought, oh, the Muslim Brotherhood is a new phenomenon. The Muslim Brotherhood was established in 1928 for the sole purpose of re-establishing the caliphate, or the Islamic State, resurrecting the Islamic State. Since then, the Muslim Brotherhood has established 70 offshoot Islamic organizations, including Al-Qaeda and Hamas, and now ISIS. The head of ISIS, al-Baghdadi, was in our prisons in 2011 as a leader of the Muslim Brotherhood. So the Muslim Brotherhood wrote a plan, a 100-year plan for radical Islam to infiltrate and dominate the West and establish an Islamic government on earth. They already established it. The caliphate has already been established now, right?
Yes.
The Islamic State has been established. They started implementing their plan in Europe in the 80s. And what they talk in the plan is they give tactics and proposals on to how to infiltrate the West, how to use our laws against us, how to use our open-mindedness against us. They talk about how to use buzzwords like tolerance, democracy, interfaith, diversity in order to con Westerners. So they say if you use those words, they'll be lapping out of your hands like dogs. They'll be disarmed. They talk about how to use our laws against us. They talk about how to get democratically elected Muslims on all levels in the West, including government, NGOs, etc. They talk about how to get Muslim interns in all offices in the West so they can have an insider eye view, a bird's eye view as to how policy is done on the highest levels. They talk about how to get democratically elected Muslims to all governments in the West. And so they wrote the plan for the destruction of the United States in 1991. Here is the plan. The plan is titled مذكرة تفسيرية للهدف الاستراتيجي العام للجماعة في أمريكا الشمالية. Did you all get that?
No.
No. Please read it again.
Okay.
Explain to us. Translate it, please.
It's written an explanatory memorandum of the general strategic goal for the group in North America, written 5/22/1991. Now, this document was presented as evidence in the largest terrorism trial ever in the history of the United States, where our government sued the Holy Land Foundation for funneling and raising millions of dollars in America to finance terrorism overseas. And they handed down 108 guilty verdicts in that trial to Muslim American and Muslim American organizations raising money. So here is the plan. In this plan, I'm just going to quote you one paragraph. That will give you an idea of what the Muslim Brotherhood is talking about. They talk about understanding the role of the Muslim Brother in North America. They say the process of settlement is a civilization jihadist process, meaning a cultural jihad process, with all the word means. the Ikhwan, which is the Arabic word for brothers, must understand that their work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying the Western civilization from within and sabotaging its miserable house by their hands, meaning our hands, and the hands of the believers, meaning the Ikhwan, the brotherhood, so that it is eliminated and Allah's religion is made victorious over all other religions. Now, do they mince words? Is there anything vague about this?
No. Nothing vague.
We have never been faced with an enemy that tells us exactly why they hate us. They have no hidden agendas. They don't beat around the bush. They tell us why they hate us. They not only tell us how they hate us or why, they issue press releases about it. They write plans about it. They put it on the internet. They even record a video press releases and send it to Al Jazeera to air worldwide. We cannot say we did not know how much they hate us.
Wow.
We can no longer hide and say they hate us.
Right. Now,
but the most important part of this plan is the last page.
Okay.
Because the last page lists 29 front Islamic organizations set up in America for the sole purpose of the destruction of the United States. Now, a lot of you have heard some of these names, but I'm going to say some to you. Number one on the list is ISNA, the Islamic Society of North America. If that name sounds familiar to you, it's because they are now advisors to President Obama about Middle East policy. The president of ISNA wrote President Obama's speech, his first famous speech to the Arabic world. The president of ISNA wrote that speech. So we not only have the Fox watching the hen house, we have the Fox inside the White House talking policy in the ear of the president. And you wonder why our president has thrown our allies under the bus and is cozying up to our enemies. Number two on the list is the MSA, the Muslim Student Association. The Muslim Student Association has more chapters on American college campuses than the Democrats and the Republicans combined.
That's shocking.
And we wonder how we're losing our universities. Number 8 on the list is NATE, the North American Islamic Trust. The North American Islamic Trust holds the deed to over 90% of mosques in the United States. Actually, the mosque that President Obama went and spoke at, remember a few weeks ago he went and he gave that address? That mosque is owned by NATE, is linked to ISNA, and that imam who preached at that mosque, we ended up killing in Yemen because he was, after he left the mosque, he became an operative for Al-Qaeda in Yemen. And that same mosque has been under surveillance by the FBI because its members were plotting to blow up government buildings. And that's the mosque that Obama chose to go visit and speak at a few weeks ago to talk about tolerance. And the last example I want to give is an organization called IAP, number 22 on the list, which later became CARE, Council on American Islamic Relations, which a lot of our audience is probably familiar with CARE. And by the way, if you go to our website, actforamerica.org, and click on the Muslim Brotherhood, you will be able to get a listing of all these front organizations listed here so you can read about them all. We link their founders, who they are connected to, who their friends are, how infiltrated they are into our government, how they are advising our government. It's beyond belief.